Well, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Labour's apparently got this new brilliant plan, they reckon, to shake up the asylum system. It is causing a bit of a stir, apparently. You see, they're thinking of stopping refugees, or illegal boot people as they're otherwise known, in nearly all cases, I'm sure, from settling here for good. But of course, while they presumably think it's the best thing since sliced bread, us critics are more than likely saying that it's not actually going to make a dent in the small boats crisis. Unless, of course, I could be wrong, because apparently Shabima Mahood is set to spill the beans about everything and all the changes next week. You see, the Home Secretary, bless her, admits that the current efforts to crack down on people smuggling aren't exactly cutting it. Well, obviously not. I mean, let's face it, when was the last time you heard anything about Labour's Security Border Force Command, or whatever it's called nowadays? But what is their new plan? Well, apparently, if you're granted protection here, you'll be sent back home as soon as it is safe again. But there is a big Keir Starmer-shaped block in the way of all this, because let's face it, the guy, from what I'm aware, used to be a human rights lawyer, and therefore might not exactly like this plan too much, even though, of course, it is his government that is doing this. So it wouldn't actually surprise me if it did get watered down somewhere along the line, and it does seem very similar to what they're doing in, was it Denmark, I think? But this apparently is a big shift from the post-World War II tradition of offering refugees permanent protection, which no doubt creates a massive magnet for the illegal boot people out there. And I was right, because apparently they're taking a leaf out of Denmark's book, where it is tougher to claim asylum and easier apparently to send people packing. But of course, Denmark might not have the same issues that we do with the ECHR. Nigel Farage, though, he reckons that it won't work as long as the UK is tied to the European Convention on Human Rights, as I was basically just saying. And he told the Daily Express, tough talk from the Home Secretary is all well and good, but the ECHR and British judges mean that not much will change, and Labour won't stop the boats. Labour's only hinting at tweaking our relationship with the ECHR for now. And Mahmood is getting tougher, apparently, as the asylum crisis has cost us taxpayers a whopping $4.76 billion, that's right, billion with a B, in the past year. And her allies are saying that we need to tackle the small boats and smuggling gangs. But that's not enough, is it? We have to send a message that echoes worldwide, that obviously the perfect one, in my opinion, was if you arrive by this route, you will not ever be granted asylum. And then, in my opinion, the boats will stop overnight, and I just don't see why the government don't just try that. Although, let's face it, I don't think they got the balls to attempt such a thing, eh? But right now, being a refugee means a lifetime of our protection in Britain, and Mahmood's changing that, making refugee status temporary and up for review. And as soon as your home country is safe, you'll be sent back. And Mahmood knows that the UK is seen as a bit of a soft touch on migration, and those choosing to get on that small boat know that as well, don't they? And without a strong message, the number of illegal migrants just won't drop, will it? And this plan is, of course, pretty similar, as I was saying, to what Denmark is doing, and of course it's working for them. Asylum applications in Denmark are at their lowest in 40 years, because refugees get temporary permits, usually for just 2 years, and have to reapply when they run out. Even if they extend multiple times, the path to citizenship is getting longer and tougher there. The thing is, though, a lot of the time, people do come over on visas and just outstay them at the end. And let's face it, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, it seems, most of the time, eh? So even if and when they have to reapply, I still think it's going to be quite tough for us to track them down. Even if they do give us what they say is that updated address, it more than likely wouldn't be, eh? But meanwhile, of course, asylum claims hit a record, not a very good one in my opinion, but it's a record 111,084 during Keir Starmer's first year in office. And under Labour, of course, the number of Channel migrants being deported has unfortunately dropped. Tory Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philip is doubtful that Labour can actually push these measures through their backbenchers, and he said, "We know Labour doesn't have the backbone to get these measures past Keir's backbenchers, which is why the Conservatives are ready to work with them in the national interest to make changes." The thing is, though, obviously the Conservatives have had some time to do changes of their own when they were in government, but unfortunately we didn't exactly see too much of it. I would have liked to have seen the Rwanda plan in action and to see if it would have worked and been a bit of a deterrent. Either way, though, I'm sure it would have been much more of a deterrent than what Keir Starmer's 1 in, 1 out brainwave appearing to be, because let's face it, they're coming over here again, aren't they, eh? But he says that we know we need to go much further than these proposals. And our borders plan involves withdrawing from the ECHR to deport all illegal migrants within a week of arrival, no matter their asylum claim, which obviously does sound good. Hopefully the Conservatives or Reform, I'm sure, will definitely do this, but I just hope that someone has the balls to do, well, something, eh? But when the Home Secretary unveils her asylum policy statement on Monday, she'll warn the lefties in our party that Labour could face a wipeout in the next general election. And a source said, "We have to admit asylum system is outdated." And just before next week's announcement, the Home Office shared new figures showing 48,560 people have been removed from the UK since Labour took power. And this includes failed asylum seekers, foreign criminals and others without the right to be here, making a 23% increase apparently compared to the 16 months before last year's election. I personally think, though, and admittedly I could be wrong, but I personally think that number has been fluffed up a bit somewhere along the line, because let's face it, if they did remove that many people, wouldn't they be shouting it from the rooftops just a bit more, eh? And it makes me wonder if those people which were removed actually went back of their own accord when their visa runs out. But either way, though, thinking about it, if you are fleeing war, then why should you have the right to stay in another country permanently even after that war ends? Because let's face it, you apparently fleeing war was the only reason you went there in the first place, eh? So we'll just have to see if it works, won't we? Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments.